Okay, so today is December the 20th, and we have got a lot to get caught up on. Take a look at the latest headlines with me. Coming out today, Putin says war has been declared on Russian world. This coming out 7 hours ago. Take a look at this one as well. War was declared on the Russian world today, Putin says, coming out December the 20th, 2024. I'm going to share with you the details as Putin is saying that war has been declared against Russia and things are escalating with the conflict. Now, this is very interesting as he is making these statements, as also simultaneously, take a look at these headlines. Ukraine-Russia war, the latest. Putin's forces launch an attack in Kiev's ballistic missiles and drone attack. Putin says that he is open to talks with Donald Trump, though, saying that we will have things to discuss. Take a look. Putin says ready to compromise with Trump on Ukrainian war. Russian President Vladimir Putin said yesterday, that he had not spoken to U.S. President-elect Donald Trump for years, but was ready for negotiations and compromises with him over the war in Ukraine. Trump has touted his ability to strike a Ukrainian peace deal within hours of coming to office next month without providing any details, however. So we are hearing that there could be potential peace talks that are going on, yet at the same time, literally today, Putin is saying that the world is at war with Russia. Now, like I said, I'm going to share with you what we know so far, but take a look at this. We are hearing that Putin ally is predicting nuclear radiation zone could end the war in Ukraine. Now, this came out earlier in the month. You can see this was released December 3rd, updated December 4th. But what we are hearing is that they are saying, a lot of the defense ministers for Russia, the oligarchs, are saying that Donald Trump, he is overly confident in his abilities to negotiate with Russian President Vladimir Putin. They are saying that they believe that this war is not going to end in a ceasefire peace talk that is going to be brokered by Donald Trump. They are saying that they believe that there is going to be a nuclear detonation, a blast that is about to take place in Ukraine, that Vladimir Putin, he is going to drop a nuke on Ukraine. And he is going to drop a devastating IRBM or IRCM that might have a nuclear warhead that will create a radiation zone that will last beyond this current generation, and that will be the end of the war. So that is what we're hearing is being suggested by leaders in Russia as to how this war is going to be coming to a close. But as you saw today, Russian President Vladimir Putin coming out and saying the world is at war with Russia, with a new announcement coming out. Now, in addition to that, we have our own issues here on U.S. soil with major conflicts, warnings of potential attacks. Take a look at the latest headlines with me coming out on the drones. Updates on this. Now, Long Island cops, they can shoot down the drones as new high-tech command center unveils, we don't want to wait. That is right. In the last 24 hours, we're hearing they are saying, shoot them down. The police officers in Long Island have the ability to do so. Now, just to clarify, if you are a civilian, you should not be firing at any drones. They said a lot of people are mistaking airplanes for drones, and you don't want to be firing at airplanes, mistaking them for drones. So right now they are giving the police the opportunity to do this, but only after they can verify that it is in fact a drone. And take a look at this. FAA temporarily restricts drone flights in New York amid concerns over recently reported sightings. 27 no-fly zone notices are now in effect in New York until January 18th of 2025. And also, as I've shared with you, there are serious concerns of potential threats of attack in the state of New York and in the city. And actually, just this morning, I shared with you that there was a setup for an attack, that there was a sleeper cell that was shut down. An individual, they are saying, that wanted to do an attack specifically against a Jewish community center. I can't remember if it was a mosque or excuse me, a temple, or if it was a specific location, but they had said that there was an individual that wanted to do an attack, and there are warnings specifically for New York right now to be on alert, especially during these holiday seasons. Now, in addition to that, with the concerns of the drones taking place, I'm going to be sharing with you some video footage you can see coming out December 20th, 2024, actually just in the past hour, as right now we are hearing that Congress is trying to stop a government shutdown, and they are saying that if a government shutdown takes place, This is going to cause issues with the drone situation and addressing it in a timely fashion. So they're saying additional pressure. But as I shared with you earlier today, hashtag shut it down is trending as we saw the spending bill come out in Congress, and we saw, I believe Elon Musk tweeted, I think over 100 tweets we heard showing pictures of the spending bill. It was a giant stack, and he said that this giant stack is a porky bill pushing through taxpayer dollars to spend on who knows what, because he said nobody's had time to read it. He said shut it down, stop this ridiculous spending, and they showed what the bill should actually look like for the spending. So Elon Musk in charge of DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, stepping in, and we're hearing that members of Congress congregated around him for his call and said, shut it down. They said, that's fine. Shut the government down, but we need to put an end to this reckless spending. And if you agree with that, put shut it down in the comments. I'd like to see how many people agree with Elon Musk. Now, like I said, this is coming down to the wire. They've got to get something taken care of. And right now, I am also watching the live feeds with you. House votes on a plan to avert a government shutdown without Trump's debt limit demand. And there you can see Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. Some people are saying get him out, and that he is currently in a difficult situation, the same situation we had seen Kevin McCarthy with before, trying to figure out how to come up with some sort of a deal that will keep things rolling, yet at the same time not make his party feel like he has abandoned them. So he is in a difficult spot right now. And I actually heard some people say, make Elon Musk the Speaker of the House. They're saying it doesn't have to be a member of Congress. Why not go ahead and get Elon Musk in there? So let me know your thoughts. Should Elon Musk be the Speaker of the House? If you think so, let me know in the comments. But let me get you caught up on the latest with what is going on right now. And we're going to dive into some video footage and articles. And if you appreciate that, take a second for me, hit that like button, help spread this out further across the platform so more people can get the latest updates of what is going on right now. Also, subscribe to stay up to date. If this is your first time here, it's totally free. Why not? I'll keep you up to speed on everything. And as always, all of the articles I'm going to be referencing are cited in the description below. I cite all the sources, put it on the screen, read right from it, so that way you can see it for yourself and know that it is the latest. And again, in addition to those articles, also going to have additional resources linked down below. And I also have for you guys, a lot of people were asking for an update on the iodide potassium pills, the tablets, in case of exposure to radiation. A lot of concern about that. I have an Amazon link down in the description for you with several other links to things to take into consideration for purchasing, and those are just some tablets. I think it's like $15. So a lot of people that are wondering, hey, where can I get my hands on some of these tablets in case, you know, the worst were to unfold? Those are going to be linked down in the description for you as well. I see a lot of shut it downs coming in. I see Sandra saying no, Elon Musk with the thumbs down. I am seeing other people saying yes to Elon Musk. I see Crystal saying, oh Lord, no, not Elon Musk as Speaker of the House. Margarita Boone is saying Elon for the House. So wow, a lot of differing opinions. Some people are saying yes, get him in there. Some people are saying no. But like I said, I'm going to get you caught up on the latest so you know exactly what is going on, and smash that like button for me. But let's take a look at the information coming out as we are hearing in the last 24 hours. Russian President Vladimir Putin is saying war has been declared on the Russian world. And we're going to be seeing here where things go. It seems like it's really hard to say, because on one hand you have Donald Trump saying he's going to put an end to this. On the other hand, you have them saying war is being declared. This article coming out in just the last 7 hours. And also we are hearing that there are oligarchs that are saying nope, they don't think that there is going to be an end to this. It's going to end in a nuclear detonation. But take a look at this with me. Russian President Vladimir Putin stressed during a meeting on the Senate State Council on Friday today that Duma members told him that a war had been declared on the Russian world, according to the RIA Novosti. Now, that is how it is, Putin added. Earlier today, the authorities of the Kursk region said at least 6 people lost their lives, with an additional 10 injured in a Ukrainian missile strike on the city of Rilsk It remains unclear if Putin's comments are related to the recent event. Putin previously threatened to again use the novel Orshnik intermediate-range ballistic missile on targets in Ukraine in response to Kiev's strikes on Russian territory with long-range weapons supplied by Western countries, aka the United States. And we had heard Russian President Vladimir Putin say that this was a red line for him, that if Ukraine were to use long-range missiles against Russia, that was going to be crossing the line. We heard they actually changed their nuclear doctrine to address this directly. And also they had said that the nation that approves this and the nation that supplies the missiles, they would consider it that they were at war with that nation. And in both of those situations, it is the United States. We had heard that Biden had given that approval. And then we had also provided them with those long-range missiles. And immediately after that, we saw Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky use those long-range missiles against Russia. And now we have seen the response with the Orshnik, the IRBM, the intermediate-range ballistic missile that Russia had launched against Ukraine. And we are hearing that he said, this is a Mach 10 missile. Nobody on Earth has the capabilities of stopping this. It is 10 times the speed of sound. And he said, we don't even need to strap a nuclear warhead to this IRBM. The damage that it can do is incredible. All we need to do is launch several of these, and it would have similar devastation to that of a nuclear detonation. So he is warning that nobody on Earth can stop this, and that they have the ability to do this. And we're hearing the warnings that Russian President Vladimir Putin is saying that he is preparing for another Orshnik to be launched. Yet at the same time, the United States is saying that they will not be outdone. The United States, as I shared with you, I think it was about a week ago, came out and said that there was missile testing in Guam and that they actually shot down an IRBM similar to that of the Orshnik. So the United States saying, no, you don't have an unstoppable missile, and no, nobody on Earth, you are claiming nobody on Earth can stop you. The United States can stop you. Now, let me know your thoughts. Do you believe that? Do you think that the United States can stop the Orshnik? Do they have the ability, and they've just been kind of holding back the information? Or are they saying this to try to detour Russia? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who has the upper hand here, do you think? Put U.S. if you think it's the U.S. Put Russia if you think it's Russia. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But again, we are hearing right now that Russian President Vladimir Putin is saying, that war was declared on Russia's world today. This coming out today, December the 20th, 2024. So if you thought things were slowing down with the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, guess again, things are only ramping up. Take a look at this. Coming out today, war was declared on Russia's world today, Putin said. The article says, war has been declared on the Russian world today. This was announced at a meeting of the State Council for the Support of Russian Families by Russian President Vladimir Putin. Colleagues from the Duma spoke and said that war had been declared on the Russian world. So it is, Putin said, quoted by R.I.A. Novosti. And so there you have it. Now it says, as EA Daily reported, a meeting of the State Council on supporting Russian families was held today. At the meeting, the head of the state proposed discussing a number of issues, in particular, more active participation of businesses for employers in solving the problems of the demographics agenda, the inclusion of the national projects measures aimed at improving the quality of life for families and children, supporting the aspirations of young parents to have children early. There you have it. Now, okay, so wow, what is that for? All right, well, I massively apologize. There is more information on that. That does not sound like it is related whatsoever to the missiles. Let me double check here. And I'll be the first to tell you, hey, I apologize if I make a mistake. I am human. Let me double check on this. Because if that is it, then that has nothing to do with it. Now, this previous one made me think that it was related to the Orshnik. As you can see right here, Putin has declared war. Let me see here. Putin previously threatened to again use novel Orshnik intermediate-range ballistic missiles on targets in Ukraine in response to Kiev strikes in Russian territory All right, let me double check on this one for you guys because that is very confusing to me. I apologize. If the information is wrong, I will be the first to let you know. I'm not going to claim anything unless I can verify it. So let me do so because I referenced this one and it looked like it was related specifically to the war, but now we've got another one here that is saying it's related to families and employees and employers. So I apologize if I made a mistake. I am human. I will let you know. Let me verify this just to double check because one, it looks like it's related to war. Another one, it looks like it is related to business and employers and fixing a demographic problem. So let me double check on that for you. I apologize if that is the information is off on that. So I will double check. I apologize, but I will continue on. Now, in addition to that, let's get back to the war, though, with this as Ukraine and Russia war, the latest. Putin's forces launch an attack against Kiev with ballistic missiles and drone attacks. So things are still taking place right now with the conflict that is going on. Now, it says Putin says that he is open to talks with Donald Trump, saying we will have things to discuss. So at this time, we are seeing Donald Trump saying that he is going to be coming in and he is going to be fixing things here with the conflict that is taking place. Do you think that he is going to be able to do this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you think so, put a 47. If you think no, put a 46. As the current administration, they have been saying, hey, we believe that we need to continue to support Ukraine at this time. And we believe that right now there is going to be no end in sight to this war. Now, Russia has launched dozens of missiles and drones against Ukraine, as at least one person has lost their life in the capital of Kiev in the attack. Ukraine's Air Force said that Russia had fired 60 drones overnight, though 20 were downed well before they reached their targets, and 5 ballistic missiles at towns and cities across the country. Now, at least one person lost their life after missiles hit Kiev at around 7 a.m. local time this morning. While a high-rise building was badly damaged, the capital's St. Nicholas Church was also damaged. 5 people were also injured in a separate Russian missile strike that damaged a 2-story residence in Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's hometown. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that he should have invaded Ukraine earlier, as he used an end-of-the-year press conference to double down on his decision to start the war. Now, despite the toll his war has taken on Russia's finances and the lives of its young men, Putin claimed that sending troops to Ukraine in 2022 has boosted his country's military and its economic power. However, we're also hearing that he is saying that he is potentially open to talks with Donald Trump to do a ceasefire. Take a look. Putin says he is ready to compromise with Trump on Ukraine war. Russian President Vladimir Putin said Thursday that he had not spoken to U.S. President-elect Donald Trump for years, but was ready for negotiations and compromises with him over the war in Ukraine. Trump has touted his ability to strike a Ukrainian peace deal within hours of coming to office next month without providing details. Russia's Vladimir Putin said on Thursday that he was ready to compromise over Ukraine in possible talks with U.S. President-elect Donald Trump on ending the war and had no conditions for starting talks with the Ukrainian authorities. Now, Trump, a self-styled master of brokering agreements and author of the 1987 book Trump, The Art of the Deal, has vowed to swiftly end the conflict, but has not yet given any details on how he might achieve that. Putin, fielding questions on state TV during his annual question and answer session with Russians, told a reporter for a U.S. news channel that he was ready to meet Trump, whom he said he had not spoken to for years. Asked what he might be able to offer Trump, Putin dismissed an assertion that Russia was in a weak position, saying that Russia had got much stronger since he ordered troops into Ukraine back in 2022. We have always said that we are ready for negotiations and compromises, Putin said, after saying that Russian forces advancing across the entire front were moving towards achieving their primary goal in Ukraine. Soon, those Ukrainians who want to fight will run out. In my opinion, soon there will be no one left who wants to fight. "We are ready, but the other side needs to be ready for both negotiations and compromises." Reuters reported last month that Putin was open to discussing a Ukrainian ceasefire deal with Trump, but ruled out making any major territorial concessions and insisted Kiev abandon its ambitions to join NATO. Shelley, welcome to the channels. Thank you for hitting that join button. I appreciate that support and contribution. Greatly appreciated. As a result, you will see all of the sources pop up in your YouTube feed. Just something extra I do to say thank you to those that support the channel. Appreciate that a ton. Putin said on Thursday that Russia had no conditions to start talks with Ukraine and was ready to negotiate with anyone, including President Volodymyr Zelensky. But he said any deal could only be signed with Ukraine's legitimate authorities, which for now the Kremlin considered to be only the Ukrainian parliament. Zelensky, whose term has technically expired, but who has delayed an election because of the war, would need to be re-elected for Moscow to consider him a legitimate signatory to any deal to ensure that it was legally watertight, Putin said. Putin dismissed the idea of agreeing to a temporary truce with Kiev, saying only a long-lasting peace deal with Ukraine would suffice. Any talks should take as their starting point a preliminary agreement reached between Russian and Ukrainian negotiators in the early weeks of the war at talks in Istanbul, which was never implemented, he added. Some Ukrainian politicians regarded that draft deal as akin to a capitulation, which would have neutered Ukraine's military and political ambitions, according to Reuters. So there you have it. They're saying that they are potentially open to some sort of an agreement. Now, again, let me know your thoughts. Do you think that they're going to be reaching some type of an agreement here? Or do you think, no, it is going to be ending the way as we are hearing here, which is that Putin ally predicts nuclear radiation zone could end the war in Ukraine? And you can see this came out December the 3rd, updated December the 4th. This particular article reads, an ally of Vladimir Putin said that if Russia were to fire a nuclear weapon on Ukraine, that it would create a radiation zone that would end the conflict, according to the Financial Times. Russian tycoon Konstantin Malofev spoke to the news outlet about how the world is on the brink of nuclear war. He said that Putin will likely reject President-elect Donald Trump's peace plan, and he would only be able to end the conflict if he reversed President Joe Biden's authorization for the use of long-range weapons. Speaking of a scenario in which Russia fired a tactical nuclear weapon, he said there will be a radiation zone that nobody will ever go into in our lifetime, and the war will be over. Newsweek reached out to the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation and the Trump transition team for a comment via email. Now, the predicted radiation zone that he spoke of, that he is referring to, will bear similarity to the radioactive area surrounding Chernobyl following the explosions at the power plant in Ukraine back in 1986. Following the nuclear disaster, a piece of land measuring 1,040 square miles deemed the exclusion zone has been cut off, and it remains one of the most radioactive areas in the world. Some survivors live in nearby villages, and some wildlife has come to occupy Chernobyl since the nuclear disaster, which began after a routine reactor systems test went wrong. Now, experts have previously predicted that the area will remain uninhabitable anywhere from 3,000 to 20,000 years. The Russian oligarch's prediction is not unwarranted, as Putin recently signed an updated nuclear doctrine into law, and he has made statements, in addition to those by other Russian officials, that Russia will respond to attacks on its territory. Now, the Russian oligarch also noted that for peace talks with Trump's appointed envoy, Keith Kellogg, to be successful, they need to be about the future of Europe and the world, rather than focusing solely on the future of Ukraine. On November 27th, Trump nominated Kellogg, a retired U.S. Army lieutenant general, to serve as the special envoy for the Ukraine and Russia. Noting his distinguished military and business career, Kellogg will play a crucial role in the Ukraine-Russia peace negotiations. Now, he said that Russia would only believe the peace talks were serious and lasting if Trump discussed the wars in the Middle East, as well as Russia's alliance with China and the Kremlin's interest in Ukraine. Regarding Russia's desire for the outcome of the war with Ukraine, he said, "We want a long-term peace, some sort of general agreement about the global order. Trump wants to go down in history. He'll be 80 soon. He's a grandfather. Putin's not 50 anymore either. It'll be the legacy that they both leave us." A Russian media mogul and businessman, he runs several television networks in Russia and Greece, and although he does not have an official position in the Kremlin, he has influenced the Russian government's policy decisions. The 50-year-old oligarch has been the subject of the U.S. sanctions since 2014 for threatening Ukraine and providing financial support to the Donetsk separatist region, and was charged by the Department of Justice for violating government sanctions in a major cybercrime probe. So, there you have it. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you think that this is going to be ending with a nuclear war, like nuclear conflict? Or do you think that there will be some sort of peace agreement reached? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Trail Runner, thank you for the $5 super chat. I hope and I pray that Putin waits to talk to Trump. Only time will tell. Thank you for all that you do, Steve. Stay safe, everyone. Amen to that. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate that a ton. I will continue to keep you up to speed on everything. Now, let's talk about the drones and what is going on with that. As we are hearing, take a look at this. Long Island cops can shoot down drones as new high-tech command center unveiled. We don't want to wait. This coming out, you can see in the last 24 hours. Now, this says, meet the new space cowboys. Nassau County cops have gotten the green light to shoot troublesome drones out of the sky, with officials saying that they don't want to wait for something disastrous to happen. The order went out Thursday as county officials unveiled a new state-of-the-art drone command center that can track the mysterious flying crafts from miles away, but they need the feds to sign off on the high-tech tools to intercept and take down the drones. Instead, they're taking matters into their own hands. We don't want to wait until we have some kind of disastrous event to then say, well, we could have done this and we could have done that. Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman told reporters. So they are saying, shoot them out of the sky. Let me know. Do you agree? Should we be shooting these out of the sky? If you think so, put a 1. If you think no, put a 2. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But they're saying in Long Island, they're ready to take them down. Now, reading on, it says the Nassau County Police Department has the authority and certainly has my approval that if there is a mass gathering anywhere and there is a drone that is a threat to the public at large, they have the authority and the jurisdiction and the right to shoot down that drone. Now, Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder said his team is trained up and ready to roll. As far as my snipers go, I have 30 of the best world-renowned snipers in the county that can hit a quarter a mile away, he said. That's how good they are. The announcement comes as the Federal Aviation Administration temporarily has banned drone operations over parts of New Jersey and decreed that deadly force can be used to bring them down. Now, the agency said that at least until January 17th, unmanned aircrafts are going to be banned from flying within a nautical mile of specified airspace outlined in an FAA notice to airmen or NOTAM. Now, drone sightings in recent months, primarily over New Jersey and portions of New York, they have raised the alarm among locals and security concerns for authorities who fear foreign agents are behind them. The Post reported this week that there have been sightings near at least 17 U.S. military installations as far off as Hawaii and Utah that are located near property owned by the Chinese. Nassau County's new command center can now keep tabs on any drones near their airspace, but there is a limit to what officials can do without the feds lending a hand. I can see a drone coming from 20 miles, but I can't stop it, Ryder said Thursday. That's what we're asking for. The county exec is asking Congress to push that bill forward so we can get our drone mitigation here. Now, the White House has largely downplayed the concerns despite repeated calls from local residents and government officials demanding action to at least get answers for the mysterious flying objects. One lawmaker, Republican New Jersey Representative Jeff Van Drew, has gone so far as to suggest that the drones may be coming from an Iranian mothership high over the Atlantic Ocean. He called the federal government's lack of response is just infuriating. It is not just infuriating, it is dangerous, he said. Now, Blakeman said Nassau County can only do so much without the federal government approving and sharing with local jurisdictions the technology to intercept the drones. We would like the power to do a few things, he said. Number one, we would like the technology so that we don't have to shoot it down, because that creates a whole nother set of problems with the people who are on the ground. So they're afraid that these could come down and cause major damage. But the technology is there to jam it and to send it back to its home base, Blakeman added. And we want that. We also want federal legislation that would allow us to issue a federal summons in that event that someone was violating the law, he said. So there you have it. They are saying they're ready in Long Island, in Nassau County, to take those down. They said they are ready to shoot them down, and they said they cannot wait to take those down. Now, we still don't know any information as to what these are. We haven't gotten any clarification. The Biden administration, the military, the Pentagon coming out and saying that they are, in many cases, planes, that what you are seeing is just airplanes. People are just starting to notice them more now. They're also claiming that there are a lot of commercial drones. There are hobbyist drones, but a lot of what you're seeing, they are saying it's not anything. Now, let me know if you believe that or not in the comments, because Donald Trump came out and said there's something going on. He said the Biden administration knows, the military knows, the Pentagon knows, the government knows, and they are leaving you in the dark. And he said, and I think it is a shame. And he said, and I think that they need to tell the American people the truth and come out with it. And he also said there are a ton of drones around Bedminster, New Jersey. And as a result, I am canceling my trip to Bedminster, New Jersey. So Donald Trump saying that he is not going to go there because he is concerned about the drones. Now, like I said, there's a lot of theories right now coming out about what these drones are. I will keep you up to date as more information comes out. Also, just wanted to say, I don't know why this is happening, but on my Instagram, SteveRam3, if you follow me there, any of the theories, I literally say, these are theories, here's the sources, I give the information. Whenever I say that there is a theory that these drones are from the U.S. and that they are sniffing something out, trying to find something, and that there is speculation from the CEO of a drone manufacturing company and speculation from a New Jersey mayor that they are searching for some sort of radioactive material, on Instagram at SteveRam3, my videos are being censored by fact checkers that are claiming that the information is false. However, I'm not saying that this is the case. All I am doing is sharing with people the information, and as a result, things are still being shut down on Instagram. I have no idea why. But if you are on Instagram, follow me at SteveRam3. I'm also on TikTok, and I'm on True Social as SteveRam3. And I'm on Facebook as SteveRam News. And I'm also on X as Steve Ram News. And I actually had some people reaching out to me today. Apparently there's some copycats out there trying to pose as me. I don't know what they're up to, but those are my social medias, just so that way you guys know not to be confused by any of those. And also check out my Steve Ram 3 and see where they are censoring those. And I have no idea why. I reached out, let them know, hey, I'm just reporting what is taking place. This is actually being proposed by a CEO of a drone manufacturing company and a New Jersey mayor, that this is potentially what it could be. Didn't say it was as a fact, yet they still are shutting stuff down for that. So, take that into consideration as well. For some reason, they don't like that particular theory. But like I said, I will keep you guys up to date on that. Now, in addition to that, take a look at this. FAA is now temporarily restricting drone flights in New York amid concerns over recent reported sightings, it says. Now, the article says that the Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA, has issued more restrictions on drone flights across the Northeast on Friday in response to increased sightings in recent weeks. One day after announcing temporary restrictions on most drone flights in New Jersey, the FAA issued 27 no-fly zone notices for special security reasons in New York on Friday. The restrictions last through January 18th of 2025 and apply to some of the most populated areas in the Empire State, including nearly every New York City borough. Now, there are a few exceptions to the restrictions, including those using drones in support of national defense, homeland security, law enforcement, firefighting, and rescue services, or disaster responses. Commercial drones may also be used within restricted airspace with a valid statement of work. Those who meet the aforementioned categories, they must also have an approval special government interest waiver, which is an emergency authorization from the FAA that allows operations in restricted airspace for the specific purpose according to the agency. Now, all other federal aviation regulations must also be followed. The notice comes after more than a month of alleged drone sightings, many in New Jersey, on a nightly basis across the Mid-Atlantic region, prompting bipartisan concerns from civilians and lawmakers. And ongoing joint investigations by the FBI, the FFA, the Department of Homeland Security, and the Department of Defense revealed that nearly 5,000 reports of alleged drone sightings they have been made in the last few weeks, but only 100 of them generated actual leads. Though the agency said on Monday that they have not found any risk during the investigations thus far, they have urged Congress to enact legislation that would extend and expand existing counter-drone authorities to identify and to mitigate any threats that may emerge. Now, as early as Friday morning, no other states have issued such notices amid the influx of reported sightings across the Northeast, according to the FFA website. So there you have it. We are hearing that they are also restricting temporarily drone flights in New York. And also we are hearing, as I mentioned, the Nassau police saying they are ready to shoot those things down. Now, we're hearing right now, at this very moment, we are facing a potential government shutdown if we do not see some sort of resolution to our budget for the United States. Now, we are hearing that this could hinder things progressing with getting down to the bottom of these drones. Take a look at this video footage coming out just about an hour ago from inside of Congress, as they're saying we need to get some sort of budget agreement so the government doesn't shut down, because if not, these drones, they could be an issue. Take a look here at the latest video footage.
Mr. President, I move as if in legislative session and notwithstanding Rule 22, I ask unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to the immediate consideration of S5639, which was introduced earlier today.
The clerk will report.
S5639, a bill to extend the authority for the protection of certain facilities and assets from unmanned aircraft.
Without objection, the Senate will proceed.
I ask unanimous consent that the bill be considered read 3 times and passed, and that the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Without objection.
Mr. President.
Senator from Michigan is recognized.
Mr. President, as we near the deadline to fund the government tonight without a clear path from my Republican colleagues in the House, it appears that we're once again on the brink of a government shutdown. And when the clock runs out at midnight, the current authorities that the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI have to safely disable drones that pose a security threat will also expire. And we simply cannot let that happen. I just received a unanimous consent to pass a bill that will extend the current authorities for 1 year. I appreciate my Senate colleagues for joining me in passing this legislation so that our federal law enforcement agencies can continue to protect against dangerous drones while giving us additional time to work on bipartisan legislation that Senator Johnson and I have authored to strengthen counter-drone efforts. There are now more than 1 million drones currently registered in the United States, and the overwhelming majority of them are used for hobby, commercial, or law enforcement purposes, and in a responsible and legal way. But we've also seen many instances where drones can pose a serious threat to the safety of the public, our critical infrastructure, our airports, and our communities. From the reports of drone sightings in New Jersey that have led to airport runway closures and caused alarm in multiple cities, to drone incursions at NFL games that put fans and team safety at risk, we need to be able to take the appropriate actions to identify, to track, and safely disable drones that could be a threat. Earlier this week, I called on the Senate to pass strong bipartisan legislation that would not only extend the current authorities we have in place to take down threatening drones, but it would also help address the current concerns we're seeing from communities all across our country by helping to provide state and local law enforcement with the authority to use technology to identify and disarm risky drones so that they can protect our own communities. Unfortunately, that legislation was blocked from passing. And that's why it's so important that we just passed this one-year extension so that the FBI and the DHS will be able to disable any drones that possess a danger to public service. So I want to thank my colleagues for joining me in passing this one-year extension so that we can ensure we'll be able to protect our communities from any immediate drone threats. And I hope my colleagues from both sides of the aisles will continue to work with me in the months ahead, along with Senator Johnson, on a larger piece of legislation.
There you have it, you guys. So that is the plea in Congress. That was just about an hour or so ago for there to be some sort of legislation passed to keep the government open, because if not, then we are going to have a government shutdown. And I am taking a look at the live feeds now, and it looks like it has passed. All right, updated about 10 minutes ago while we're live. Take a look at this. House Representative passes a bill that will avert a government shutdown. You can see December 20th. Oh, actually, you can't see that. Let me move that up there. There you can see it's the caption underneath the video that is playing. House passes the spending bill to avert government shutdown without Trump's debt limit demands. By a vote of 366 to 34, with one lawmaker voting present, the House has overwhelmingly passed a bill that averts a government shutdown hours before the government runs out of funding. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson from Louisiana said earlier Friday that the new spending plan does not include President-elect Donald Trump's demand to suspend the debt limit. The legislation would extend current fiscal levels until mid-March, providing $110 billion in relief to help natural disaster survivors and aid farmers, and grant an extension for the Farm Bill, which must be reauthorized. The bill now goes on to the Senate. So there you have it, you guys. Breaking news coming out while we are live that it has just passed. That updated about 10 minutes ago. So I think that just took place right now while we were live. So it looks like we're going to be keeping the government open, and they're hopefully going to be able to address a lot of the issues that people are concerned about at this time. But again, for those of you hopping on a little bit late, I see we got 5,700 people live with me right now in the room. If you appreciate the updates, don't forget, take a quick second, hit the like button, as we are hearing today, December the 20th, that war has been declared on the Russian world. Now, this particular article is discussing specifically the war with Russia and Ukraine, but here is another one, and it is talking about employer and business dealings. War has been declared on the Russian world today. These both coming out today, December the 20th, so I'm going to do a little bit of more research to find out specifically. But regarding the war with Russia and Ukraine, it says Ukraine-Russia war, the latest, Putin's forces launched deadly Kiev ballistic missile and drone attacks. We are hearing things are escalating, yet at the same time, Putin is saying that he is ready to compromise with Trump on a Ukrainian war agreement. He is willing to compromise, come to a ceasefire. However, we are also hearing, and I've been sharing this with you earlier this month, Putin ally predicts there is going to be a nuclear radiation zone that will end the war in Ukraine, and that is because they're going to nuke them. Also coming out, you can see in the last 24 hours, Long Island cops, they can now shoot down the drones as a new high-tech command center unveiled. We don't want to wait. Now they're saying, if you're a civilian, do not shoot these down. That is illegal, but they are saying they want to give the cops the ability to do so, and the FAA is temporarily restricting the drone flights in New York amid concerns over recent reported sightings. And as I just shared with you, the breaking news coming out live while we are here right now, the House has passed that spending bill to avert a government shutdown without Trump's debt limit demand. So the government will no longer be facing the potential risk of being shut down. So, man, there is a lot coming out. Like I said, that is the latest. I will keep you guys up to speed on everything. So do me a favor, if you appreciate the updates, don't forget, take a quick second, hit that like button for me, subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? I'll keep you up to speed on everything so you know everything that is going on. And also additional resources linked in the description along with all of the articles, so that way you can check them out for yourself. And also, as I mentioned, I've added to the list of items those iodide potassium tablets for people that are concerned about potential radiation exposure to protect your thyroid from absorbing that. It's going to overwhelm it with that iodide, so that way if there's any radiation, it will adhere to that and it will be flushed out of your system through your urine. So you can have those in case of any potential radiation exposure. Link in the description, as I mentioned. And for a pack of tablets, it's like $15. It's like nothing. So if you want to have those, I know a lot of people were asking about them. I've got a link for you down below. But like I said, you guys, that is the latest. I'll keep you up to speed on everything. We still have not gotten to the bottom of these drones and what's going on with all of this. We've got conflict in the Middle East, Russia, Ukraine, North Korea, South Korea, China, Taiwan. We have got a transition of power that is going to be coming up here. And we also still have issues with potential attacks here on our U.S. soil. I shared with you earlier. If you missed it, I'll link it in the comments right after this, that there are threats of attacks that are still coming here in the United States. So that is the latest, you guys. Like I said, I'll keep you up to speed as more comes out. Thank you so much for joining me. Hit that like button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.